Why vaccinate? It is my purpose to answer this question, but in the meantime, I wish to ask all of you a question. Can a conversation be fatal? A controversial topic or question that my wife and I were asked as we were preparing for our first child was, are you going to vaccinate your child? Being admittedly uneducated on the topic, I didn't know how to answer. This is a result of my research. The purpose of this presentation is to raise up arms, figuratively speaking. The best armed people to make decisions are those who are armed with the weapon of knowledge. Educating first-time parents concerning the benefits of childhood vaccinations is far too important to ignore. The last 50 years have painted a mosaic of the goodness that has come from medical advances and the administering of vaccinations. According to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, a virus, in its simplest definition, is something that can cause harm by way of infection. In the computer world, viruses can attach themselves to almost any program, such as a document from Microsoft Word. Executing or opening that document activates the virus. Once infected, a virus's first task is to multiply itself. By the way of the internet, it seeks to spread to other computers. We often do this or aid the virus unknowingly by forwarding a funny email or sending information to another person. Once the computer is infected, and when the virus is spread, it seeks to do harm. Most viruses are easily spread, and we are unaware we have a virus until we begin to see the effects of that virus, such as your computer freezing, crashing, or even slowing down. Computer viruses mimic perfectly what a viral bacterial infection can do to a human body. To answer the question, can a conversation be fatal? The answer is absolutely. Measles is an example of a highly contagious infection that is spread merely by speaking. This would be something to fear if we had no way to defend ourselves. Let's go back to computer viruses. If your computer is infected with a virus, the first step is to run an antivirus. Once discovered, the program can reverse the effects of the virus and even prevent them from happening again, keeping our computers safe. Our bodies work in very similar ways, as we have a built-in antivirus system called the immune system. Part of the immune system contains white blood cells. Their primary purpose is to fight infection. Just as a computer antivirus diagnoses the virus, attacks and removes the virus, and then sets a defense for future infection, our bodies have a very similar three-part defense system. There are three primary types of white blood cells: macrophages, antibodies or B lymphocytes, and T lymphocytes. In this order, they diagnose, attack, and protect the body. Macrophages quite literally eat germs and leave behind something called antigens. B lymphocytes create antibodies which attack the antigens. The third defense, T lymphocytes, attack any cells in the body carrying the infection. Vaccinations essentially simulate what happens to our body when fighting an infection. Vaccinations prepare our body for a certain type of virus by imitating the infection. Our bodies remember how to fight these viruses thanks to the simulation caused by the vaccination. The question arises regularly that if our bodies have a built-in defense system, then why vaccinate? Some viruses have the potential to overwhelm our bodies faster than our bodies can fight the infection, like chickenpox. Some diseases leave long-lasting effects that you can carry with you for the rest of your life, like polio. Vaccinating your child gives them a considerable head start in maintaining good health throughout their life. Another important thing to remember is when you vaccinate your child, you are not only protecting him or her, you are also protecting those to whom your child could potentially spread an infection to. Most importantly, vaccinations can save your child's life. Over 20 diseases, according to How Stuff Works, are now completely preventable by way of vaccinations. I will briefly discuss 3 vaccine-preventable diseases: chickenpox or varicella, measles, and polio. Chickenpox is a highly contagious disease that is transmitted by breathing, coughing, and sneezing. Chickenpox causes blister-like rashes, itching, and tiredness. Also, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC, serious complications from chickenpox can include dehydration, pneumonia, bleeding problems, inflammation of the brain, and even death. Measles is a highly contagious disease. As you could see from this graph here, there was a large outbreak in the 1950s. When the vaccine was actually issued or created, the disease was almost completely eradicated. Measles is highly contagious. It can be spread through the air like chickenpox, and the virus can live on any surface for up to 2 hours. According to the CDC, measles is so contagious that 90% of people close to infected people will also contract the disease. Polio is a vaccine-preventable disease that renders the infected potentially crippled due to the invasive effects of the virus on the brain and spinal cord. Polio can cause paralysis in both arms and legs, or render a person immobile, as the disease can leave muscles incredibly weak for the duration of the individual's lifetime. In summary, we now know that and understand that vaccinating our children does not only protect them from potentially devastating diseases that could have lifetime effects, but it can also aid in helping protect others from contamination from these highly contagious diseases.